and welcome to this very special edition on CNBC TV18. I'm Sonal Bhutra. Well, sustainability has been the big focus point, not only at an individual level, but governments and organizations as well. Global brands, be it domestic companies, all of them are focusing big time on sustainability, gender equality and inclusivity as well. A lot of companies are focusing on that, and L'Oreal is just one company amongst them which are talking about and who are talking about the big leap that they are taking into inclusivity, gender equality and sustainability as well. And we have just one right person to talk about it. With us today is Alexandra Palt, who is the Chief Corporate Responsibility Officer and CEO, Foundation L'Oreal. Alexandra, thank you so much for joining us on CNBC TV18. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course, you're a big consumer brand, 35 brands in your portfolio, and sustainability has been the focus as well. Now that we are seeing more consumers being very savvy when it comes to sustainability, talking about eco-friendly products, what kind of changes are you making at L'Oreal, at the foundation level, to ensure that such products are actually sent across to the globe?
Yeah, so let me first just say that there is a difference between how we can transform ourselves and our products, which is a long-term strategy and focus that we have started already in 2012. Because already in 2012 we had our first transformation strategy on sustainability, where we committed to 100% eco-designed products. We said that by 2020, 100% of our products will have improved their environmental and social profile. So in 2020 we had achieved around 95%. We continue this strategy. We continue to work because a company is serious about sustainability if we change and transform the products and services we sell. You know, it's not just outside initiatives and CSR. We have to be serious about what we sell and how we sell it. So at L'Oreal, that means very concrete things. So in 2030, it means 100% recycled plastic for all our packaging. So we are already on one of the plastic types, PET, we are already at over 60% of recycled plastic. It means 95% of ingredients coming from natural bio sources or abundant minerals. It means a transformation in the way we distribute our products, but also new things like new ways of consumption, refill, recharge, so that every consumer also can make the choice. I have to say that we didn't wait for the consumer, because the consumer can be very different. You know, you have very committed consumers in some parts of the world. You have also a lot of people who say, I want sustainability, but then when they go and buy the product, they think less about it. So for us, of course, we want to encourage our consumers, and we want to provide them with some product that allows them to have sustainable consumption behaviors. But we will do it anyway, because that's how we see our future as a company, but also our responsibility. And then you have another part, which is how we contribute to society outside of our work.
Yes, of course. We'll discuss that in greater detail as well, right? So when we talk about you ensuring that the final product that goes to the customer is eco-friendly, or at least you're ensuring that there's lower emissions, so to say, are we doing it via supply chain as well? Is that changing for you in the overall scenario?
Yes, definitely. So we have to understand that we are all in this together. You know, because very often I hear, yes, there are the NGOs and there are the companies and there are the consumers, and climate change is not going to stop before the door of any individual or any company. So we are in this together. And so there is only one way forward, and that is a sustainable way. So yes, of course, we have to involve our supply chain. Our suppliers know it's for a long time that we encourage them to measure their carbon emission, to reduce their carbon emission. So they know that by 2030, if you want to work with L'Oreal, you also have to be committed to fight climate change and reduce our carbon emission by 50%. But I think what is important is, it's not just carbon emission, it is also living wage. You know, living wage is a very important issue for us, because, you know, there are a lot of places where minimum wage is not sufficient to take care of your family, to have a decent life. So we at L'Oreal, we pay living wages, but we also want in 2030 all our strategic suppliers to pay living wages to their employees. So a living wage is a wage that allows you to have to cover your basic needs and those of your dependents. And I think this is very important, because what we should not forget is that sustainability and inclusive society have to go together. You know, it's not protecting the environment. It's creating the best natural and social ecosystem that allows us to thrive as individuals and as societies. And for that reason, we need both. We need societies where people can live from they earn enough to live a decent life with their work, and they live in a natural environment that does not put their lives into danger.
Oh yes, a lot of things are to be considered here, right? So when we were talking about consumer becoming more aware, and you did mention maybe in some cases it differs, right? They go buy the product and they think, okay, we are not feeling so strongly about sustainability. In case of India particularly, because we have a big Gen Z population, so to say, the median age is around 25, 26. That's a big number going by the population in India. Are you seeing change in trends as if you look at the Indian market? And generally, globally, are people more talking more about such sustainable products, and this is something that you're seeing in the demand trends as well?
Yes, so what we see very globally is that, of course, the younger generation, they are very aware, you know. They are very aware and they are anxious. They are afraid. And I think what we have to acknowledge is they are right to be anxious. There is a lot of people who do not understand the environmental issues because they think, well, it's about protecting the planet. And that is not the right analysis, you know, that the planet is going to be here a long time after we have disappeared. But the question is, what is our safe operating space as humanity? What do we need as an environment to be able to survive and to survive well, you know, as to thrive as communities? And so I think there is a larger consciousness among young people now. And so when they see where the world is going, they are afraid, worried, scared, and anxious. And I think they also hold us responsible, and they will hold us accountable. And I think as parents, as mothers, fathers, we really have to be clear about what responsibility we have to, yes, in the short term, improve living conditions for all of us, but also prepare a long term, because of course that's the condition that our children can thrive.
Of course, we'll give it to them. We have actually taken it from them rather than giving it to them, right? So we have to ensure that the environment is such. The second thing that I wanted to connect is Women for Climate. That is an initiative very close to your heart as well. So I just wanted to understand in the larger picture, is this gender's or women's contribution to the climate change scenario very low right now? What you at L'Oreal Foundation is doing to ensure there's gender parity?
Yeah, so as I said, our contribution to society is happening also a lot through the L'Oreal Foundation. And one of the issues we are interested in is women and climate change. So why are we interested in? So women are disproportionately impacted by climate change, as caregivers, as providers of food, as victims of climate catastrophes. So in a lot of communities all around the world, we see that women are really disproportionately impacted, and that's normal because inequality will lead to a stronger impact of crisis on discriminated or populations. So women are more victims of climate change, but they don't have the same seat as the table. They are very little involved in the design of climate solutions, in the negotiations, in very little support for them to design the solutions to climate change. But at the same time, on a community level, they work already with these transformations on a daily basis. So we want to make the impact of climate change on women, but also the solution and the voice they have to have at the negotiation, at the solution table. We want to make it heard and support women in this transition.
You know, I was listening to earlier interviews of yours where you did say that women scientists, or so to say women in science, at least the exposure that they get is really low, and you are working on it to ensure that they come ahead, their contributions are known to the world as well. We at CNBC TV18 also have a campaign called Future Female Forward, where we are talking about all the contributions made by a female in the society. They are known but maybe not acknowledged. What do you have to say in the current scenario that we are in? What more needs to be done, and how can foundations like yourself ensure that that happens?
Yeah, so I think, well, one thing is we have to be aware that this is ongoing. So that change, it's not because we are talking about it for 5 or 10 years that the change has happened. So we have to continue to be attentive all the time that women's voices are heard and at the table. And the important thing is that is not just for questions of gender equality or parity. The interesting, it profits to a whole society. Societies, economies, research, teams are better when they are inclusive, when there are women and men and people from different places, because of course you think differently, you bring more ideas to the table. So research is better when you have mixed teams and diverse teams, and that is proven 100 times by research, So I think there are two things. Be attentive that women are always at the table, always involved, and also make them visible all the time, because the invisibilization of women continues, That is unfortunately a scheme that is worldwide the same. So we have to keep in mind that they have to be made visible like you do or we do through our initiatives.